You look at a player like Vini Jr. and Vinny is everything from his daily schedule to the recovery work he does to his diet. Um, Everyone will get injuries from time to time, but he will have fewer than most because the regime he has in place is it's phenomenal. And again, you look at he signed for Real Madrid and he signed for Real Madrid in or around the same time that Eden Hazard went there. But if you were playing in that position, you probably think, well, I'm buried. Eden Hazard's arrived for 100 and whatever it was, 15 million. But he's just blossomed. And I still think he's nowhere near his potential. I think he's frightening talent. He's going to improve every year for the next several years. With Endrick, I think he could be the best striker in the world. Because he's Brazilian, everyone has a Brazilian comparison. So people were saying he's like Romario and players like this. And for me, he just really reminds me of Wayne Rooney. He's just the same thing. I remember being at Everton games when he came off the bench, when he was coming through, and just the crowd lifted. But without really saying or doing anything, you just know he means business. You know he's there to impact the game. And, similar-ish build, incredibly powerful strike, total fearlessness from a really early age. So the player that he really reminds me of a lot is Wayne Rooney. So in my experience, the really, really top players, um, they understand what they have to do. Um, so sometimes a player turns up to training and he does what he has to do at training. But the really good ones, they understand that, maybe that's not enough. They understand, they're very acutely aware of weaknesses they might need to work on. And they're very aggressive and enthusiastic about just improving all the time. And honestly, when occasionally if a player doesn't really fulfill his potential, sometimes you, well, the potential was incredible, but if you know how the player lived, not that it was he was a chaotic player at all, but just sometimes football can be a little bit of a dead heat. There's a lot of very good players, but the ones who are really applying themselves, they will they will fly higher than the ones who don't. I think at our company, if you look at a player like Federico Di Marco, and I would argue he's probably Inter Milan's best attacking player last season. Although he's a wing back, nobody could defend against him. He was running into space in the opposition penalty area, and his supposed marker was nowhere to be seen. He was just very difficult to play against. But I think that his game intelligence is what's given him a huge advantage. Remember, he's a player at 5 loans. So it wasn't just directly from the Primavera into the first team. He had 5 loans. But he wasn't shaken at any point. He was like, I'm an Inter player. And had the strength of vision. And at any time where maybe there was a bit of a challenge, he was like, well, how am I going to meet it?